Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin bubble news channel. In the next 2 to 3 years, I think there will be a lot of people who just happen to have a lot of Bitcoin. Those people will then think, Fred Krueger, that guy's been doing Bitcoin conferences and the channel podcast, that guy must have a lot of Bitcoin. Okay, let's find out what we can do to help Fred Krueger. Also, the thing that bothers me is that I don't like how they're diversifying and all that. What will get me is this: listen up. We have a great tool for lending money to men like you. You know what we really want to show you? How you can live off of your Bitcoins for the rest of your life without ever selling any of them. We recently talked to scientist and entrepreneur Fred Krueger about math money and Bitcoin. He gave us some amazing ideas about Bitcoin's future. Even though the market has been going up and down recently, Krueger makes a strong case for Bitcoin's huge potential. Bitcoin is trading for around $6,000 to $4,000 right now, which is a 1% rise in the last 24 hours and a 5% rise in the last month. There are currently 19.73 million Bitcoins in circulation out of a maximum amount of 21 million. Scarcity is turning into a very important factor. According to Krueger's research, we are about to witness a major change in the way money works. Within the next 15 years, Bitcoin could hit an amazing $4,500,000 per coin. This is going to be a great source of wealth, like money handling and collecting money. Okay, as a guy, you're not someone who worked on Wall Street, but someone who sold a lot of businesses, right? I've started 10 businesses and sold them for between $10 million and $200 million. And I can tell you that Morgan Stanley called me after my first exit and said, Fred, that's great. It sounds like you sold this software company for $20 million. I'd love to have lunch with you, and would you like to open an account at Morgan Stanley? Would you like to possibly have a collar put on your Macromedia shares? After the next company, Goldman Sachs called me and said, Fred, we saw you sold another company. Know you have a relationship with Morgan Stanley, but let's make it a little more interesting by trading collars. I don't even remember what it was the second time on these new story shares you have. Okay, listen, I think that everyone and their brother is interested in this business of fund management fees. Okay, and you used to go through the list of all the tech companies that were sold and try to get the top 3 people in each one to sign up with Maryland. That is, something like Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley. We also have a very safe way to make sure that you'll never get a call in the middle of the night. Also, the fact that we're not open late at night is good for you, because there isn't going to be a capital call at midnight. We'll separate your risk so that your Bitcoin assets have a week to get ready. We'll have time to get more collateral if we need it. To, bridge your Bitcoin security, you might go sell some stocks. Okay, we might have to get a home equity loan though, if things get really bad. Okay, you're going to sign, and the loan you're signing is going to be a loan. This loan will be paid back by you. Okay, but there won't be any risk because it will go through Merrill Lynch. There won't be any chance that Merrill Lynch will fail like Celsius did. Schwab is looking a little suspicious right now, but maybe the Schwab guys will say the same thing, right? But I just think that product will be very popular with a lot of people. Okay. Along those lines, one guy doesn't have a relationship with these people on Wall Street, just like most tech founders didn't have a relationship with their first business. But once they sell their first business, they do have a setup, or one of these guys gets them right. And Morgan Stanley, Merrill, or whoever takes them on as a partner. Okay, this is where I think the fight will be between these wealth management groups. And, it's kind of an evergreen deal because they'll get the guys they need and give them Bitcoin. As Bitcoin grows over the years, these clients will continue to be big ones for the company. Okay, so it's great. If I were John Mack, I would say, we're going to get all of our guys to go talk to all of these Bitcoiners. We're going to try to figure out who the guys are who own more than 500 Bitcoin. All right. Yes, well, I guess you could say I'm a student of how things have changed. And I kind of look to Andrew to see where all this ETF stuff is really happening and what the mood is. When this ETF first came out, I could see that, Wall Street is just something that changes all the time. And, ETFs they were so small in 2004, right? The overall value of ETFs went from 300 billion to 10 trillion. I don't think many people realize that the value of ETFs has gone up that much. In the last 20 years, it's gone up 30 times, right? So we now have a new way to handle wealth. Passive management is in, active management is out. Mutual funds are pretty much dead, and now we have ETFs for single stocks like Tesla. I believe we have entered a new period. Also, I believe Wall Street is very good at changing, and I really believe that once it's done fighting crypto, it will embrace it and find that it is very good at making money. I mean, the financial sector of the US, Economy makes up about 13% of the whole, so Wall Street finds ways to hire hundreds of thousands of people, including 600,000 analysts and financial advisors. That's a huge number of people, so I'm sure they'll find a way to handle other people's Bitcoin and lend money against other people's Bitcoin. I also think that one of the things that I'm good at is that a lot of the people who follow me are big Bitcoin fans, all of them. All of them want to know the same thing: how can I live off of my Bitcoin without selling it? In other words, that's the main question, right? I think the most important thing to take away from Celsius is that the product was a great fit for the market, right? I know that Celsius, BlockFi, and Abra are all out there. The idea behind all three is that, hey, I want to earn a little extra yield on my Bitcoin, or I would like to borrow against my Bitcoin. It's clear that there's product